are launching a new initiative focused on civility. We are calling it Embrace Civility. A 2019 survey revealed that over 90% of Americans believe that incivility is a problem, with nearly 79% identifying it as a major problem. In recent years, there have been too many instances around the country where interactions between and among elected officials, the public, and in general have degenerated into attacks, threats, and abuse. Cities need a plan to counteract the growing polarization and challenges caused by incivility. We believe cities have a great platform to model open, free, and vigorous debate while maintaining the highest standards of civility, honesty, and mutual respect. While it's understandable that many are passionate about their thoughts and ideas, and we fully support the right of self-expression and robust debate, we can demonstrate in our public meetings how it's possible to disagree, but not be disagreeable. In fact, this should be the expected standard. Civil behavior and speech are critically important to a healthy, functional, and respectful society. For public service to be effective, there must be an atmosphere of respect and tolerance and a commitment to a healthy public exchange of diverse ideas and viewpoints. Our Embrace Civility program will equip cities with resources to create more civility in their meetings and among their residents and meeting attendees. Civility is more than just politeness. It's about disagreeing without disrespect. Seeking common ground is a starting point for dialogue about differences, listening past one's preconceptions, and teaching others to do the same. You see, civility is the hard work of staying present, even with those with whom we disagree. We have prepared a model resolution and will encourage Georgia cities to consider adopting it and posting it in a prominent place on their meeting agenda. The pledge is one that is intended to guide elected bodies, staff, and citizens as to how they engage with each other. We prepared some very professional resources for cities to utilize, and we're excited to make a difference in this important area. GMA will also be launching a web page with resources on civility. Visit gacities.com/civility to learn more about civility in Georgia cities.
I appreciate being asked to speak to this particular topic of toxicity versus civility in the municipal workplace. This has been an issue of growing importance over the last decade in particular, and has done nothing but increase in terms of severity as well as the repetition with which I find this in various studies that I've done across Canada, particularly in the last 5 years within Alberta, British Columbia. The issue has come up in terms of how mayors relate to their councillors, how mayor and councillors relate to their CAO, and sometimes even within the ranks of senior administration, the level of toxicity has continued to increase. As a result of all of that, you run into difficulties in terms of trying to attract high caliber candidates in the next election, even though people may be disgusted by what they find in their own council. You will end up having difficulty attracting new candidates because they think that that's what they're going to face when they get elected. You also run the real risk of losing quality CAOs as well as quality candidates because they know that they have choices, and they're more and more portable these days than they used to be in the old days where people stayed for 10 and 20 years on one particular location. Now CAOs can move rather quickly because they're in demand across Canada. And across North America for that matter. So we need to make sure that what we're doing is enforcing quality. First of all, let me back up and say what we need to do is spend more time doing pre-election training and saying to candidates, this is what you can expect in terms of when you get into office, this is what code of conduct looks like, this is what a conflict of interest looks like, and so on, and make sure that there's a heightened level of awareness. Secondly, that there needs to be a much stronger approach to orientation sessions right after elections so that candidates that have now been elected are made aware of their requirements to behave in a civil fashion, not only towards the public, which is part of the issue, but also toward other members of council with whom they may or may not agree with on particular issues. It's amazing to me that you've got councils that are elected on one night and the next day they find out that not everybody thinks the same. and that lo and behold, the mayor does not have the powers of the great potentate, and which will come as a surprise to some mayors that they have actually some limitations on their authority. And of course, if that was made aware to them at the outset, they would have far less recourse to the old adage of I wasn't made aware or I didn't know. Candidates for office need to be aware of the limitations on their power. They need to be made aware of what does civility look like. So the kind of training that you're doing, Diane, for your audiences is extremely important. Audiences need to know right across North America that civility is a requirement. If you can't be civil to your neighbors, to your own family, and to friends, then local government is probably not for you. I'm encouraged by the number of councils that I see where there is civility, where people can have great arguments on a particular issue, and on the very next moment can go on to another topic wherein they find that they all agree. So that's the nature of what local government should be about. Unfortunately, what we find today is too often and too frequently the opposite. So we need to focus on what does civility mean? What does quality discourse mean? Why are those things important? How can you still be passionate about an issue without dumping on your neighbors? How can you stay focused on the issue and not the face across the council table? How can you ensure that you're protecting your administration from the outrage of council members that have no fettering and no leashing on their responses and their attitudes? All of that's critically important, and I think we need to make sure that sessions like you're coordinating are provided for all municipalities across North America.
And I really want to encourage you to attend the Global Civility Summit coming up this fall. The simple fact is that it is more challenging to be in local government service, whether as an elected official or an appointed official today, than it has been in my entire career. It is just flat difficult to keep on keeping on. And yet the challenge we're facing for the future of our cities are so profound. It's critical that we equip leaders to know how to thrive in the unbelievably dysfunctional environment that we've got right now. So if you particularly see yourself as a servant leader, you know that the real focus of servant leadership is it's not about me, it's not about now. And if you will join us at the Global Civility Summit, I think it will help you. You'll come away feeling like you have tools and insights that will help you do a better job being the kind of leader that you really aspire to be.
Civility is important in the council chamber in order for councillors to carry out their municipal duties effectively. Councillors must communicate with trust and respect when having robust conversations in order for good decision making to occur for the benefit of our communities.
G'day folks, today we're talking about tackling toxicity and cultivating civility. To do this, we need to talk a little bit about leadership. Leadership is not just about steering the ship, it's about how you treat the crew along the way. Civility is that secret sauce that makes leadership not only effective, but respected. And I know that you'll be aware of those people in your orbit that are great leaders and do this really well. It's very tough to do. Leadership is a high stakes game that does not give up its rewards easily. Importantly, leaders choose their behaviour. When they choose civility, they set a gold standard from the top. And this isn't just about being nice. Civility in leadership is about fostering respect and trust. It's about creating spaces where people feel heard and valued, where diverse perspectives are not just tolerated, but they're actually encouraged. Civility is the backbone of servant leadership. It cultivates an environment ripe for effective communication and for conflict resolution. Not just within the walls of the organisation, but it extends further out into our communities and for our customers. When leaders model civility, it cascades all the way down. Senior leaders, managers, all the way to the frontline staff. They all mirror this ethos, and it pays off not only in smoother operations, but in much better teamwork. It further engenders discretionary effort from everybody, and that's something we all want. When civility and leadership are present, cohesion and collaboration are often key characteristics of your organisational culture. This is a long-term game. So remember, being civil isn't just a choice, it's a leadership strategy. that signals we respect people. We need to have more conversations with more people. Often, these people are some people that we have different views than us. Go into these conversations with an open mind and with an open heart. Let's lead not just by the authority of our titles, but by the integrity of our conduct. I'm looking forward to joining the Global Civility Summit later in October this year. Cheers.
Good day, everyone. My name is Alina Glaceman, and I am a councillor with the District of Peachland in the heart of the Okanagan of British Columbia, Canada. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our host, Diane Kalen-Sukra, founder of Kalen Consulting, for the opportunity to speak on why civility is so important, not only at our council tables, but in our communities as well. Toxicity, incivility, discrimination, and harassment are taking over our democratic society. And the right of freedom of speech has taken over the need to collaborate respectfully and professionally. At the council table, civility is part and parcel of respect. Respect of a person, respect of an opinion, and the right to agree to disagree professionally. Misinformation, rage, anger, and division are extremely toxic to members of society. Code of conducts and civility pledges are created to balance what we do at the council table, but what can we do to address the discord that is now apparent in our communities? Society feels the need to divide in order to protect individuals from this toxic and incivil action. But dividing us by gender, color, race, disability, or religion only promotes further toxicity and discord. Local elected officials, as well as community members, are simply human. We all need information, we need education, support, and protection from what society now deems as acceptable behavior in our realm. I hope the Global Summit in October provides some insight on how to reinstill civility at both the local government table as well as our community tables. Thank you very much.
Civility and how it contributes to the success in placemaking. And it's actually the easiest testimonial ever because it's how I operate is through civility. And that builds relationships, which builds a sense of belonging for the community. So as people feel like they belong, they take better care of their community. So restoring civility into the process of everything that you do to build community and placement helps strengthen the community, and people take ownership and things start to reset, get cleaned up, making a great place for people to just feel like they belong.
Civility in politics isn't just important, it's the lifeline of empowered communities. Therefore, civility can be our superpower, but it goes beyond just polite conversation. It's truly about listening, understanding, and connecting, and it transforms disagreements into opportunities for deeper insights. In a world where division currently seems to be the norm, civil discourse can truly be the bridge that unites us. And when we engage with respect and genuine curiosity, we can unlock the full potential of our communities. Therefore, civility is critical for several reasons. It allows us to get to the core of issues. When we engage respectfully, we can have meaningful dialogues that uncover root causes and innovative solutions. It also increases public participation and amplifies voices. I've seen firsthand how toxicity can deter people from getting involved or even commenting on a social media post for fear of backlash. So toxicity is silencing important voices in our community. Whereas civility fosters diverse perspectives. In a civil environment, people feel safe to express differing viewpoints, leading to more comprehensive problem solving, which is important because a lot of the issues we look to solve are very nuanced. Toxicity isn't just unpleasant, it's disempowering and it pushes good people out and it's fracturing our communities. Therefore, civility is our path to empowerment. It's how we change from us versus them to all of us together. When we focus on our shared goals rather than our differences, we can unlock our full potential as a community. And I truly believe that this is the path forward. So I want to encourage all of us to be change makers, and let's set a new standard for political discourse, one where civility reigns and empowerment thrives.
So why should civic employees and counselors be treated with respect? Well, because they work for all of us, for the betterment of our communities. They're the ones that ensure that all of the services that we come to enjoy or maybe take for granted are there for us day in and day out. We're finding that attracting council members, attracting high quality staff is already a challenge. And so it's when they're subjected to incivility or a toxic environment from the public, it really is challenging to continue on. What's the point, in other words? So public service actually responds to a bit of a human calling, I would say. As humans, we have a need to serve others. We all share the burden or the responsibility of ensuring our communities prosper and advance. If we lose our good people, who's going to replace them? High quality governors and high quality staff can both ensure that our communities are advancing and growing. You know, unity is important here. I'd like to say that to remain united, the only path forward, honestly, as a society, we need to rely on justice. And quite frankly, justice relies on compassion, on forgiveness, and generosity of spirit. So the honor of one is the honor of all. And when you're tearing down a civil servant or a counselor, you're really only hurting yourself. And that's the distressing part for all of us. Thanks for listening.
It is almost impossible to be untouched by incivility, but if not managed well, takes its toll and leads to high conflict. Tackling incivility by avoiding it or meeting it head-on by retaliating is unhelpful. Confrontation only makes things worse. The most sustainable way of dealing with incivility is to make yourself less vulnerable to it, and this is possible if you approach the issue in a particular way. Remember the goal of the conversation and focus on the primary objective that is important to you. Is it maintaining a relationship or completing a project? Keep the conversation productive. First, start with learning to control your own reactivity. Human beings are reaction machines. Take a step back, pause, breathe, and notice how you are feeling. Think up a mantra that you can recite to yourself when you feel triggered to help calm yourself down. William Ury, who is a negotiation expert, says managing oneself and the art of self-mastery is an important skill when in conflict because you can't influence others if you can't influence yourself first. Remember that when you are angry, you make the best speech you will ever regret. You can't control what the other person says or does. You can only control your reaction and response to it. This realization allows you to let go of owning the other person's negative behavior and empowers you to focus on how you manage difficult situations. Secondly, listen carefully for what is underneath the words the person is saying. The goal is to understand what's behind their stated position. Demonstrate curiosity. People want to be heard. Ask open-ended questions like, tell me more. How did you get to this position? How has this conflict affected you? What would it be like if this issue was solved? Reflect back to them what you heard them say and check with them if you got it right. And thirdly, cultivate compassion and respect. Give the other person respect. See the human being that's there wanting to be heard. Also, demonstrate empathy and see the situation from the other person's
Hey everyone, my name's
perspective.
Scott Andrews. I just want to take a second to thank everyone for the difference they're making in the world. We live in very divisive times where it seems like every single topic can be polarizing to someone somehow. So we need to always remember to lead with love in all that we do, to be optimistic, to be enthusiastic, to be kind, empathetic, caring, to genuinely treat everyone as an individual, because everyone is hiding something behind that mask of a smile. So when we put the human element back into our workplaces, we're making a difference in the world. Thank you for all you do.
Hi everybody, I'm Pierre Leroux, former mayor of Russell Township and current Chief Administrative Officer of the Nation Municipality. Here are 3 ways a council can treat their CAO with civility. Respectful communication. Maintain open and respectful dialogue, ensuring that all interactions are professional and considerate. This fosters a positive working relationship and encourages effective collaboration. 2, supportive environment. Provide the CAO with the necessary resources and support to perform their duties effectively. This includes offering constructive feedback and recognizing their contribution to the municipality's success. And 3, trust and autonomy. Trust in the CAO's expertise and judgment. Allow them the autonomy to make decisions within their role, demonstrating confidence in their leadership and capabilities. Thank you.